Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about why the farmers are protesting against the laws made by the government. In this video, we will cover up the laws made by the government for the farmers, why and how the farmers are protesting, and last but not the least, the most important question, for whom are these laws beneficial? Are these laws beneficial for the farmers or the private individuals? So before starting up my video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for my new videos. So without any further ado, let's get started.
First, what are the laws made by the government? The laws made by the government are A. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act. This provides for setting up a mechanism allowing the farmers to sell their farm produces outside the Agricultural Produce Market Committees APMCs. Any license holder, trader can buy the produce from the farmers at mutually agreed prices. This trade of farm produces will be free of mandi tax imposed by the state governments. B. The Farmers Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. This allows farmers to do contract farming and market their produces freely. C. The Essential Commodities Act. It is an amendment to the existing Essential Commodities Act. This law now frees items such as food grain, pulses, edible oil, and onion for trade, except in extraordinary situations. The government has argued that the three laws open up new opportunities for the farmers so that they can earn more from their farm produces. The government has said the new laws will help to strengthen basic farm sector infrastructure through greater private investments. Successive governments have found financial constraints in investing in farm and rural infrastructure. It is argued that with food markets growing exponentially in India, private players would make agriculture profitable for the farmers. Second, why and how are farmers protesting? This question includes three further parts. A. What are their demands? B. Where and how are they protesting? And C. What are the conditions of the farmers in which they are protesting? There are two major demands of farmers, which include revocation of all the three farm bills and legally assurance to minimum support price MSP. Apart from these two demands, farmers also have other demands, which are A. Raise MSP to at least 50% more than the cost of average weighted production. B. Revoke Commission of Air Quality in NCR and adjoining areas. C. To implement the recommendations of National Commission on Farmers. D. To take back all the cases against the release farmer leaders. E. To reduce diesel prices by 50% for agriculture activities. And F. To revoke electricity ordinance. The farmers are protesting against these bills as they are afraid that these bills may be the platform that the government is setting up for the replacement or scrapping of the otherwise robust support system prevalent in their states for the purchase of their crops. They fear that the MSP, minimum support price guarantee, that was their safety net since the Green Revolution of 1960s, may be snatched away from the pretext of giving the farmers more playing ground and better platforms. The state government driven crops produce procurement infrastructure in these areas is very good. Procurement through the Food Corporation of India had promised MSP to farmers, which is declared before every agricultural season, encourages farmers to focus on taking more yield. 23 agricultural crops have MSPs. Though the government primarily buy only rice and wheat, farmers fear the two recent bills as they feel these agricultural resources processes will kill the government procurement process as well as the MSP. Farmers are protesting at Sindhu border, Ghazipur border, Tikri border and Shahjahanpur border which is in Rajasthan. The farmers are protesting peacefully without harming anyone. They are using many peaceful methods such as Ghirao, Dharna, Rasta Roko, and demonstrations. They have prepared a lot to protest against these laws, like they have converted their tractor into rooms by putting up mattresses and room heater and also covering their roof with waterproof materials so that they can save from themselves from rains. As you can see in these images, there are also many temporary water heaters which can boil up to 40 liters of water in one time. A group of people is allotted to wash clothes of farmers. There are also many langar facilities which are run throughout the day. Many outsiders also distribute food, clothes, shoes, etc. to help these farmers in such conditions. Yet, the winter is unbearable. The temperature decreases to around 2 degrees Celsius in night. Due to this cold weather, around 57 people have lost their lives. For whom are these laws beneficial? Are these laws beneficial for the private individuals or the farmers? The answer for this question is that these laws are beneficial only for the private individuals. These laws are not beneficial for the farmers or any other citizen of India. First of all, agriculture is a state subject and the central government has stepped into a domain which was not a part of its regulation. Secondly, Indian farmers, most of which have small land holding, on average of less than 1 hectare, feel that the laws will make them even more vulnerable as they give an edge to corporates and agri-business companies. The bills have left the farmers agitated and divided due to several reasons, which are: first, under this law, it is not mandatory for a company to make a written contract with the farmers for any contract farming. So, even if the company violates the terms of the contract, the farmer cannot prove it. Second, bill does not prescribe or specify that contract price of the crop should be at least equivalent or above the MSP. It means the contractor or companies can pay whatever price they want to the farmer. India's experience of the contract farming has been poor, with farmers getting very low rates through contract farming as compared to selling it in government mandis on MSP. Third, till now only farmers, farmer cooperatives and farmer producer organizations didn't have any limit or restriction for stocking, producing or selling their crops. As a result, they take conscious decision of selling their crops only when the market or the buyer is offering good price for the crops. So, under this bill, the farmers are not getting any new freedom. On the contrary, the government is now removing all the foodstuffs from this category, allowing companies and traders to store as much as quantity of food they want, which amounts to promoting hoarding. Fourth, the government says that now the farmers will have freedom to sell to anyone. Under the bill, the agri-business companies, corporate and traders will be allowed to open their own markets to purchase from farmers. However, the biggest fear coming from this is that it will destroy the level playing field between the APMC markets and other traders. Under the bill, the trade outside the APMC mandi is virtually unregulated. Farmers are demanding that in case the government is allowing new set of farm markets to come up, The state and local government should be given power to oversee their functioning and also regulate them. However, their demand has been ignored by the government. Sixth, presently, if the farmers feel the traders, corporate, or agents working inside the APMC mandis are involved in any unfair practices, they could complain to the APMC officers located in the yard itself. However, with the new bill, in case of any disputes, farmer would be required to go to a subdivisional magistrate court, which is beyond the capacity of small farmers to pursue given their financial constraints. And in future food shortage condition arises, these agri business companies can sell these food grains at much higher prices, and poor people cannot buy these food grains. Overall, these laws are totally beneficial for the private business companies and not for the farmers. Thank you.